There are a number of categories that can be used to describe different types of falls in the workplace. Falls to floor level or working level. Falls from a moving vehicle or mobile equipment. Falls from stairs, ramps and ladders. Falls through an opening to a level below or to ground level. And falls from the edge of a work level to a level below or to ground level. The most common type of fall in the workplace is the fall to floor level or working level, which is usually the result of a slip or trip. Generally, these falls don't result in serious injuries, but that's not always the case. The strategy for handling hazards that can cause slips and trips is a combination of good housekeeping practices and the use of non-slip footwear and, if necessary, non-slip surfaces. Keep the floor area tidy and free of equipment and materials that are not required for the task at hand. Passages, aisles and stairways should be kept free of obstructions. Spills of any type should be cleaned up immediately, and warning signs are also useful for drawing attention to slippery or potentially slippery surfaces. As we have already said, any fall can be dangerous. However, it's generally recognised that falls from a height of 2 metres or more pose real threats of serious injuries or fatalities. In many workplaces, there are often requirements for people to perform tasks above floor level. Cleaning, repairs, maintenance, inspections and installations are all tasks that frequently require people to work at heights. Fortunately, many of these tasks are performed on a regular basis, and appropriate safe work procedures have been established. In many of these situations, engineering control measures have also been put in place to minimise the risk of falls occurring, such as stairs, handrails, guardrails, cages, permanent lifelines, non-slip surfaces, appropriate lighting, and so on. There are essentially 2 reasons why falls occur in the workplace. 1. Safe work practices and procedures have been ignored or not properly adhered to. This is usually the result of taking shortcuts, becoming familiar with the job task and deliberately ignoring the proper procedure, or simply not having the appropriate knowledge or experience to perform the task safely. And 2, not properly planning out a job task before work is commenced. This most frequently occurs when an occasional or unusual task is necessary. Regardless of the situation that requires working at heights, there are only 3 steps that are required to ensure everyone's safety. Establish and/or follow safe work procedures. Use appropriate fall restraint or fall arrest equipment if necessary, and use appropriate fall containment equipment if necessary. Safe work procedures must be established for any job task regardless of whether or not a full hazard may be present. The task must be evaluated for any hazards, and if any of the hazards found have unacceptable levels of risk, then appropriate control measures must be adopted. If the hazards present include the likelihood of a significant or serious fall, then one or more of the following fall protection systems must be used. Barriers, handrails and guardrails for edge protection. Covers or guardrails for surface openings. A fall or travel restraint device. A fall arrest device. A fall containment system or a control zone. The use of barriers, guardrails and covers is fairly self-explanatory, but may be a little confusing. They can be permanent or temporary and be made from a large variety of different materials and have different designs. Covers, for instance, are usually made from wood or metal, and barriers can be made from a number of different materials including rope, plastic, wood and metal. Barriers can provide a physical barrier to a working area, for example a fence, or, as in the case of a warning barrier, simply be used to indicate that hazards are present. In these situations, the barrier offers no physical protection. Guardrails, on the other hand, must be of a structural nature. Regardless whether they are permanent or temporary, they must meet specific requirements regarding their height and ability to be subjected to static loads and other forces. Different specifications apply in different places, And if you're in doubt about the suitability of any guardrail system, further inquiries should be made. Typically, a standard guardrail system will comprise a top rail, a mid-rail, and will usually incorporate a toe board, which is used to help prevent tools and materials from being knocked or rolling over the edge. Guardrails can also be of wire mesh, wooden slat, and wire rope construction. A fall restraint device is perhaps more aptly known as a travel restraint device. The purpose of a travel restraint device is to limit the distance a person can move so that they are unable to reach a position where there is a risk of falling. It's designed to eliminate falls from height, but it won't remove the possibility of falls to the working surface. Typically, a travel restraint will consist of a safety belt or safety harness that is attached to a lanyard that in turn is attached to a lifeline or directly to a secure anchor point. The important feature of a travel restraint system is that it must be rigged to ensure that travel to edges or openings is not possible. A seat belt can also be considered as a form of travel restraint. It prevents a person being thrown from a moving vehicle or from a mobile piece of equipment as a result of an unexpected force or accident. A fall arrest system is not designed to prevent a fall. Its purpose is to limit the distance of a fall and to prevent injury. A complete fall arrest system consists of a full body harness, a lanyard, a shock absorber, a fall arrestor, and a lifeline with secure anchorage points. A full body harness is designed to protect the person both during the fall and after the fall. The shock absorber is designed to absorb energy from a fall and results in less energy being transferred to the person, the lifeline, and anchor point. The shock absorber may be a separate device or it may be built into the lanyard design. The lanyard is a flexible line of webbing, synthetic rope or wire rope that runs from the fall arrestor or lifeline to the body harness. The fall arrestor is a device that automatically locks onto a lifeline when a fall occurs. Normally, it will travel freely along the lifeline, but when sufficient sudden force is applied, it will grab onto the lifeline in the same manner that a car seatbelt will grab in an accident. Lifelines are synthetic or wire ropes rigged between two or more anchor points to which a fall arrestor or lanyard is attached. Lifelines can also be permanent fixtures, and these are usually made of steel or aluminium rails or wire ropes. Lifelines can also run either horizontally or vertically. Fall containment is not commonly used in the industrial workplace. It's most frequently seen in the construction industry, particularly in structural steel erection, for example in bridge work. Fall containment is the positioning of nets as close to the working surface as possible and is only used when other methods are not practical. A control zone is the usual method of fall protection used in industry, when other means of fall protection are not suitable or practical. The control zone is usually marked by a raised visible tape or some form of flagging. The control zone is the area between the marking and the edge of the working surface. There are clearly situations where the use of a control zone is not suitable. There are other situations where the width of this zone must be increased to be effective, for example, if the surface is slippery or the surface has a slope. In certain situations, it may be possible for work to be carried out within the control zone itself. In these situations, an experienced person must act as the safety monitor to ensure that the work is carried out in accordance with the fall protection plan. In reality, most falls in the workplace occur during what could be described as normal everyday activities. Many of these falls involve the use of portable ladders. Because ladders are readily available and easy to maneuver, they are often used in situations where alternative means of reaching the work area and performing the job task are more suitable. Mobile scaffolds, elevated work platforms, and cherry pickers all offer a more secure working platform and much greater flexibility when performing the job task. Scaffolds and elevated work platforms can also allow for more than one person to perform the work required and can accommodate the use of heavy or bulky materials. Ladders do, however, still have their place, and special care should be taken whenever they are used. The key safety points to consider are: the ladder is structurally sound. The ladder is made from appropriate material for the job task. For example, a metal ladder should not be used near electrical sources. The ladder is of the right height. It has a secure footing, and the ladder is secured at the top. There are lots of other contributory factors that can lead to falls in the workplace. Here are just a few examples. Unexpected movement of equipment or machinery, excessive vibrations, strong winds, wet or icy surfaces, uneven floor surfaces, inappropriate footwear, untidy work areas, missing grates, covers, barriers or guardrails, and misuse of equipment, for example, using the tines of a forklift as a platform to stand on, and the list can go on. The key to preventing falls in the workplace is planning. Safe work procedures must be followed or established whenever there is a risk of a fall occurring. Falls can be prevented when the appropriate steps are taken.